What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on either twitch.tv or YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, how you doing today? Things are still a little bit tense in the U.S. Some people are more tense than others about things, but how are you holding down with everything?
I'm watching some Orange Man as we speak, actually.
We stole the election. They stole the election from us. Big red wave. It was not right how they treated us. They treated us very badly.
We have many litigations. All the litigations are active right now. We're litigating everything. We've won several of them. They want to count ballots. We don't want to count ballots.
Stop counting in Pennsylvania and Georgia, but Arizona and Nevada keep counting.
It is just entertainment at this point.
Oh, it's like someone I saw on Twitter put, you would only expect this from the season finale of the United States for this season, but we're not talking about politics. What?
The problem is it ain't stopping anytime soon.
Yeah.
I feel like this will be heard through January.
Yeah, good point. But we're not talking politics. We're talking sports here. That's what you guys come to us for, is our sports talk. I mean, yeah, like they coincide. They do this once in a while. They did earlier this year, which I will say, bringing sports into it, I am very happy about the runoff in Georgia with that Senator Loeffler.
You see that now.
How she's like... I mean, yes, she could technically win, but, like, I'm very happy that, like, it wasn't a landslide for her. That, like, what she said had consequences and can still have consequences.
Yep.
But we got a jam-packed show today talking a lot about the NBA with a sprinkling of football mixed in. Before we get into everything, make sure to check us out. The Discord, best community on the internet. Link down below if you're on YouTube, !Discord. If you are in Twitch right now, get you into that community. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. That's how you go ahead and do that. You can also do that by supporting us on Twitch, throwing us a sub. Also, thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. Can't forget that. But we're live on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. But we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports as well. And Dave, what we're starting the show off with is a little bit of a callback to yesterday's episode where we were talking about Jrue Holiday. If you want to check that out, if you're on YouTube, link will pop up above us. But we were talking about Jrue Holiday trades, and Eric in chat brought up Devin Booker and the Suns, getting Devin Booker some help. And funny enough, today, what kind of went like wildfire is Ryan Russillo's comments on the Bill Simmons podcast, or like when we were talking before the show, I accidentally said the Ben Simmons podcast.
Yeah,
couldn't remember his name at all. But Ryan Russillo said the worst kept secret in the league is Booker already wants out of there, talking about how Booker wants out of the Suns. He doesn't want to play for Phoenix anymore. Dave, I'm going to ask you right away what your thoughts are this, but here's my quick take at the front is when I saw this, my first thought was, do we honestly believe Ryan Russillo? Like, Ryan Russillo knows things. I believe he does have, like, his pulse on some of the happenings in the NBA, but do we honestly believe Ryan Russillo really, really, really knows what Devin Booker wants and what's going on in Devin Booker's head right now?
No one believes that, but it's easy enough for all of us to understand why that would be true. We've heard Devin Booker wanting to win. We've heard him being unhappy with the team's progress since he's been in the league. So everything adds up into the direction of Devin Booker wants out. Like that's super believable to hear, though. That's the problem is Suns are a bad team. Devin Booker is a scoring sensation. And hey, he should get a shot at the playoffs. He'll never be an all-star in the West because there's just better talent ahead of him. But like maybe his day's coming in the next couple of years, you know? Maybe some people get moved out of there. So I think it's just the whole concern of Suns suck, have sucked. They've gotten better. They got better. And I think now they're at the point where they're competing for a playoff spot. And all of a sudden, this whole thing just casts everything into doubt, you know? I brought it up yesterday. I said the Hawks didn't want to have a Trae Young situation turn into a Devin Booker situation where a guy wants out of a team before he's even, at his prime. So we'll see what happens.
Also, thank you to Philishon right now throwing us the 5-month sub onto Twitch.
Shit.
But like the thing I sit at is, first off, like I said, do we really think Ryan Russillo knows what Devin Booker wants right now? Because you brought it up, Dave. This Suns team, I know we mentioned it yesterday, and you even said like you gotta love the 8-0 run in the bubble. But really, what does that mean for the Suns next season? Because I mean, just because you went 8-0 in the bubble doesn't mean you're going to run the table and be one of the hot teams in the West. Like
They know that.
No. I know they know that, but like I think some fans out there don't know that. I honestly think there's a part of me that
if you watch ball basketball, you are a basketball fan. You are not a casual fan.
Well, like this is the thing I think of is I have a worry that there will be people heading into next season I say next season, it's going to be starting in about 2 months, not even a month, a little bit over a month. And I feel like some people are going to have higher expectations than not than usual, but than they should for the Suns. I think the expectation should be if they make the playoffs, that's a perfect season for the Suns. Anything above that, then we're talking, okay, is this team going to be the OKC Thunder from last year? Is this going to be the team that I don't think everyone's going to be as low as everyone was on the Thunder, but is this the team that everyone goes, well, if they make the playoffs, that's great. That's their perfect season, and they overachieve on that.
No, I mean, they're right on the cusp, and the problem is the West is so loaded on talent that there are no real teams who are 100% out of the playoff picture in the West. You look at the very bottom and you're like, I can see a way they get there. That's the problem. The Grizzlies have a chance. The Suns have a chance. The Spurs still have a chance. Every team in the West stands a chance to make us playoffs, except for maybe the Kangs. And even the Kangs have a chance because they were this close 2 years ago. So they have talent. Everybody out there has talent and can compete. It's just, who's going to be able to break into that top 8 that is looking incredibly tough right now. So that Suns team has a modern spin on them. They have a great offensive-minded point guard in Ricky Rubio. They've got good ball movement now. They've got a great big in Ayton. They've got wing depth now. They've got everything that you're looking for in how to build a team. So it almost feels like there's no excuse if they don't make it to the playoffs at this point. The problem is that, health is one thing. If you don't have Ayton out for 25 games due to his suspension, if you don't have Rubio missing a chunk of games due to injury, those things matter a lot. Obviously, Oubre missed time too. It's if they're 100% healthy, this team absolutely can fight for a shot in the playoffs. Now, how far will they go? That's on Devin Booker, because that man's going to put up 40 to keep them competitive if he has to. But they have the shooting. They have some defensive pieces. They've got a couple guys who can really take a big step this year. So I don't know, man. I don't know if it's playoffs are bust this year, but it feels like it should be.
I agree with you. It feels like it should be, but I agree with you that I don't want to put the playoffs or bust on it because, first off, looking at Devin Booker's contract, Suns are in the driver's seat. Devin Booker signed this extension.
You can't say that anymore.
Well, no, the reason why I
Three
say
words,
that,
I want out.
Don't matter. In the thing why I say
you tell that to everybody in the past 4 years.
The reason why I say it doesn't matter is because yes, player movement has been nothing like we've seen, but you're under contract for what? After starting this year, I still got you 3 more years after this. So it's one of those things where the Suns and I would be in this situation if Devin Booker's first off, if he's this offseason, I want out. I sit him down and I kind of do what my parents used to do back in the day, where it was I was doing something dumb and they slapped me upside the head. It's dude, what are you doing? We're on the right track. We're ticking up.
When I go play with D'Lo and Kat, who are my friends, who I get along with very well with, and I would really enjoy playing with them.
Yeah,
and I don't think they're in any worse position than we are.
But yet again, I would sit down as like the owner, coach, GM, VP of basketball, whoever, and just be like, yeah, but you're under contract. We're going to keep you. Because we're not making the playoffs. And I don't think morale. Yeah, I don't think Devin Booker's that guy.
He could Vince Carter it.
Anthony Davis was a different story because Anthony Davis, like, that was, I don't know, like, maybe it's because I don't think Devin Booker would do that. I think that was unique to Anthony Davis. It's a character thing. I don't think
incredibly talented player, young, driven, team can't build around him.
Don't think like, and yet again, don't know Devin Booker personally. I just watching it. He's the star in Phoenix. That's the thing right now. And
a star in Phoenix is like saying you're the biggest fish in a fucking glass of water.
But that's the thing where I feel like nowadays it's like if we're talking this offseason, Dave, if Devin Booker is really like, I want out, I'm gonna call him stupid. And the reason why I'm calling him stupid is because this Suns team is not like the Pelicans. The Pelicans were not doing good. Their ownership wasn't making the right moves to get better. They didn't even start doing that until right before right after they let Anthony Davis leave. That's when they brought in David Griffin. That's when they get Zion. That's when it finally looks like the Pelicans are doing something to kind of build a young team. With Phoenix, I think it depends on what happens this year. Because if this team makes the playoffs, then it's like, all right, that's number one. Maybe now we can get someone like, and that's the thing I want to ask you is, with this team, to add someone around Devin Booker, do they have to do that in a trade like we talked about yesterday with Jrue Holiday? Or is this just something of, hey, if we make the playoffs this year and we can do that, we realistically have that shot, is it something to where we don't have to necessarily trade? We can make the playoffs here with this free agent. We can bring in free agents. And would a playoff appearance entice a big free agent to come play with Devin Booker? Or is it basically trade or bust to add someone to Booker?
I think they're trade or bust to add to Booker. Booker's a likable kid. Ayton's likable, but I don't see you pulling somebody down there to Phoenix to play. It seems very unlikely. And Eric mentions the front office. We've seen in the past ownership incredibly terrible. Yeah. Like that's one other thing. It's just you got a lot of question marks out there. So I just look at this team and I go, they need to trade for a third piece. You can't get into the playoffs with two pieces. It only works if your name is LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You know, that's sort of how it works. And otherwise, you have to be incredibly loaded with a super deep team. And they just don't have that. They literally don't. So I want to see what happens with the season. I do think that everything lines up to move him, though, if he wants out. Like, I don't get where you're coming from as far as, Anthony Davis and him are different people. I'm like, no, they're not.
I'm just saying right now, like, him wanting out right now.
He wants to play with his friends. D'Lo got traded to Cat's team. That they literally, and they've been talking about this for 3 years now. Yeah. I think 3 years they've been talking, let's get together. Like, we're Gen 2 Banana Boat. You know, none of them are as good as Gen 1, obviously, but like Gen 2 Banana Boat right there. They want to play together. So,
but like the team doesn't have to trade him. Like, if the package isn't good enough or they don't feel like they're
the number one overall pick is there right now. That's why this is happening.
Would you want the number one pick in this? Like, we talked before this show where you brought up a comment that Russillo made on the Simmons podcast that you thought was interesting, where they talked about Tyler Hero, would he be the number one pick in this draft class? And I know you and I share similar thoughts to a guy like James Wiseman, that I feel like many people are really negative on Wiseman because we only saw 3 games on him, and people are skewing that in a bad way.
And other people see him as the David Robinson Jr. potential.
Yeah, I think all the negativity about LaMelo Ball is overblown. I think Denny Abdia will be a good player down the line. Really, the only guy I have questions about is Anthony Edwards. To where it's like, the question that I would have then is, if you're the Suns, do you want to trade up for number one in this draft? Because it's not like, although I am not low on Wiseman, Ball, or Abdia, Like, there still isn't, and none of those guys are like what we've saw last year in Zion, what we saw even 2 years ago in Luka Doncic. And I'm going to say,
No, and DeAndre
draft,
Ayton, Ricky, and DeAndre Ayton.
Dave, let's be honest, you
because
were
these
right.
Phoenix Suns took DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, you were right. Luka should have been the number one pick. I was wrong in that sense. I will admit that I was wrong in that draft class. But at the same time, I bought in heavily to well, we haven't seen a Euro player pan out yet. What would make Luka different? But like, there's not a Luka or a Zion in this draft, even though they're good. Down the line, could they be there? Maybe, but like, if you're the Suns, do you want to trade Booker? Would you even have to trade the 10th in that? I feel like the T-Wolves would want a pick swap, but like, if you're getting Booker, would that be asking for too much?
Booker is worth the first. It's worth a sign and trade with Malik Beasley. It's worth throwing in Josh Okogie.
Oh, on the T-Wolves side, they're getting the best value. It's the Suns. Would the Suns want to do that to go up to number one in this draft?
No, the Suns could take one in this draft. I have no problem with the Suns doing that for it. You'd have to get those three pieces plus a future, which the T-Wolves' future next year is already on the Warriors. So they'd have to go to like 2024, I think, to get the next clear first rounder, maybe.
Yeah. I honestly like what Eric put in Twitch chat because
that's some 2K shit, Eric. I love you, but like...
No, it's realistic, though. And the reason why I say... It is. It is. And the reason why I say that is the Kelly Oubre in the 10th for the Warriors is being thrown out a lot. So, like, that's the trade I could see the Suns doing. I could see them... trade
Ricky Rubio and a later pick to the Bulls for the number 4.
Nope, not Dave.
Because the Bulls need a point guard.
Yeah, but the Bulls...
I honestly love Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, I know, but the Bulls, you're making fun of it. That's why you're doing that. You got that fucking shit-eating grin on your face. I know you. But like, I honestly like the Oubre in the 10th for the 2 is the one that's like, ooh, I could see that happening. But like, if they're like Eric says, clear the deck, then it's adding on if we're gonna get the 2 and Booker really does want out, let's just get 1, 2 and take the 2 best guys in this draft. Like, that could be interesting for a Suns team, because then they can arguably get if the Suns do get 1, 2, hypothetically, you take Wiseman and Ball? Like, who would you take? Wiseman and Abdia, Wiseman and Ball, Wiseman Edwards, like...
Knowing the Suns, Obi Toppin's in that shit.
Toppin wouldn't be bad in that situation. Like, LaMelo and Obi, like, I wouldn't hate it, but like...
I'm being an asshole. Stop it.
It's the thing. Like, I don't think it happens because Devin Booker's not on the table. I don't think Devin Booker wants out now. Like, we keep saying Devin Booker wants out. Devin Booker wants out. I don't think we're not gonna get Devin Booker wanting out unless the Suns don't make the playoffs this year. They're bad the year after, and then with 2 years left on the deal, a year left on the deal, that's when Devin Booker will push then, depending on what happens.
I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, he's going to say something publicly.
Yeah, he'll get it moving.
No, I think it gets done. I think that's one of those situations where it only takes one comment and it's over. Like, that's where we're at in the NBA. How much power players have and how you don't want your locker room to just eat shit day in and day out because your best player is telling the world that your organization is a failure, that they can't get shit done, even though they have one of the best players in the NBA. You guys still have had how many years to build around this kid, and you can't fucking figure it out like that. You can't have that. As a team, as a PR, as anything going on in that locker room, you can't have that. So all it takes is one comment.
The only reason I disagree with him, I disagree with the part of him for sure making a comment depends how they don't make the playoffs. If it's something to where they basically underachieve, then yes. Yeah. But if it's something where it's like, you know what, it came down to a last game and we just didn't get it done, or if it comes down to like, you know what, we got our game done, but we needed so-and-so to lose, and like it was a weird situation like that they got bounced out, then I don't think he makes a comment like that. Like, it depends on how they miss the playoffs.
I don't know. I mean, playoffs are in your hands. That's the shit. You don't want to
But
give.
are they though? Like the West, we're talking about a lot of teams being in play for that 8th seed.
Yeah, they're 11 deep for the 8th seed. Like that's the problem. Or for the top 8 seeds, I should say. Maybe even 11.
Yeah,
11.
that's why I feel like if any, that's why
we'll just say everybody's in the West.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're not like the East where we have like just whole teams at the bottom.
The Knicks aren't going to compete for it. The Bulls probably, like, depending on what the Bulls do, they could, but honestly, I don't see us being competitive for that 8th seed. Fuck it, we could be competitive for the 8th seed.
And they had a great record.
Yeah,
Hornets had a great record this year. I'm like, nah. There's so many teams. Ricky. The Cavs will not make the playoffs. Not a fucking shot now. Like, point being, the whole West is competing. Yeah. I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, Devin Booker will say something and try to make his way out of town.
Yep.
The whole reason this sucks is because it lined up so the Timberwolves have the number 1 pick this year, and he wants to play with his buddies on the Timberwolves. That's the problem. That's the narrative we're trying to fucking make happen here. And because this draft class is so weak, and because the Suns are such a good, promising team right now, it doesn't make sense to move him. It doesn't make sense for him to ask to be moved.
I agree. It doesn't make sense right now. If they make a move right now, it's Kelly Oubre in the 10th to move up to like 2 or something. They're not going to move on from.
Why?
They're not.
My question is just why.
Because
Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, are those the guys you're trading up for?
I think if they move up to 2, it's to get LaMelo Ball. That's what I think. Or it could be to move up to get Onyeka Okongwu, but who knows? I think it's Ball over anything else. Dave, we're going to do, because we have all the draft topics coming up, we're going to do Wet Boys a little bit early. These are the dampest of dudes, saggest of shooters, moistest of men, sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our Wet Boys players of the day from the day before. Usually how it works when there's games that we watch, Dave can get a Wet Boy. I get to vote on a Wet Boy. Patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids get to vote on a Wet Boy. And today it's a singular Wet Boy, Dave. Maction action. Or I feel like whenever I say that, I reiterate, it's just Maction was going on last night. And just a single Wet Boy, somebody I want to give some love to, and that is Ryan McWood. We already had Grayson McCall earlier. Now we got Ryan McWood, linebacker for the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Big Ben, notable alumni of that school. Had the play of the day, Dave, where it's like you might look at those stats and go, yeah, he had a lot of tackles. But what did he do? The last play of the game, quarterback for the opponent throws it. This linebacker goes, tips it as it's thrown behind him, and then comes back, intercepts the ball to seal the game for the Redhawks, kind of ending that winning drive. So I wanted to give some love, Ryan McWood, winning the game for the Redhawks. Miami of Ohio 1-0 this season. Dave, what then we really want to move into before we go back to draft action, we got a football game tonight. It is the Packers and the Niners, Dave. Aaron Jones is playing. Aaron Jones is playing, like Sean said earlier. Hey, Dave, you might want to put Aaron Jones. I did check. He is in your lineup, Dave. You don't have to worry. Aaron Jones is there. Hopefully he doesn't do anything, though, because you're playing me. Dave, what are your thoughts on this game, and what's your pick for tonight, our first pick that we're making for Week 9?
It's got to be the Packers. It doesn't make sense to pick the team that has the COVID outbreak, the injuries, the terrible luck that we talked about all yesterday. Like, by no means should the Packers lose this game. Now, if they do lose it,
yeah.
If there's drop passes in this loss, Jordy Nelson's coming out of retirement and going to be your starting number 2 wide receiver on this team. Like, I don't even know. I have no answers left for if the Packers can't win this game. The problem, I love that McAfee brought this up on his show today, was the fact that this is a San Francisco offense that has incredibly good schemes for running the football. Doesn't matter who's back there. They've had about 17 running backs this season.
Yep, they all get high fantasy points.
Every single one of those guys is getting his. So watch out for McHasty today. I don't even know who that guy is. I literally was just looking at the charts like last week, and I was like, well, there's a name that you don't recognize. Yeah. But yeah, like that's the whole thing. Is it brings back to the story of Packers. Can you stop the run? This is a team where you're stuck with a Mullins and a question mark because his best tight end is out. Multiple wide receivers are out. They've got holes everywhere on that defense, and it's it's insane how bad the 49ers have been screwed by like random luck and injuries, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'm on the same side. It's the Packers. And the main reason, take all the 49er reasons to the side, what we talked about yesterday. You can go check that out on our YouTube channel. The other point of why I'm picking the Packers is Aaron Rodgers after a loss. Like, expect Aaron Rodgers to go off. I expect 3 people to get big fantasy points tonight, Dave. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devonta Adams. All 3 of them. Because this Packers team, Aaron Rodgers is going to will them to a victory. If Equanimeous St. Brown drops a ball, if let's say MVS if he drops a ball, Aaron's gonna look at Devonta and go, I'm going to you all game. I don't give a shit if you're blanketed. I'm going to you all fucking game.
Triple coverage? Nope. Devonta Adams.
You and Aaron Jones are the only ones. Let's will this team to victory. Like, that's how it's going to get done today. Niners, I think they're done the rest of the year. Like Eric said, they should just tank the rest of the season. There's already talks about them getting rid of, like, not them, like from them, like talks of, oh, Jimmy G should be out of San Francisco. And it's fucking, it blows my mind.
I'll take a Jimmy G.
That's the thing. The Bears, they would love to take Jimmy G. But yeah, this game, it's got to be the Packers. Packers win big on Thursday Night Football. But Dave, let's get into the draft coverage. First one we're looking at, this is kind of a follow-up from a story earlier in the week, but it's kind of a spin on it. So we talked about the Celtics. Earlier this week, it was rumored by famous blog boy Kevin O'Connor.
Yep.
And most of these draft rumors are from blog boys. I'm just throwing that out there. From blog boys, but there's a discussion to be had. We talked about the Celtics. One of the main guys we talked about them trading up for is Onyeka Okongwu. Dave, go ahead and do one of these. Do one of these, Dave. We got to pat ourselves on the back because due to reports, we were spot on. Apparently, the Celtics...
The reports? Are we the reports now?
Apparently, the Celtics are aiming to trade up for Onyeka Okongwu. That is from NBCSports.com. The tweet that they're getting from is hearing same as Kevin O'Connor. Boston trying to package their 3 picks to move up, and the player the Celtics are targeting is big man Onyeka Okongwu. So even before that came out, we were spot on. Also, you have the Hornets are being rumored. This one is from... Let's see, it's either Wasserman or it's Jeremy Wu of Sports Illustrated. So this one's not a blog boy. According to Jeremy Wu, the Hornets have been targeting a big man, and the organization apparently really loves Onyeka Okongwu. Not a trade up. This is like them at 3. They really like Onyeka Okongwu. He said, what exactly the Hornets would be willing to trade to acquire the number 2 pick is unclear. And it's worth noting the other player I've consistently heard linked to Charlotte is Onyeka Okongwu. Okongwu makes more sense in the event the Hornets feel a way to trade back. But if they're unable or unwilling to make a move for Wiseman, he's a player to keep an eye on. The third team that reports are coming in on is that Onyeka Okongwu and the Cavs are scheduled to meet ahead of the draft. So, Dave, I want to ask you, we've talked about the Wizards, the Celtics, the Hornets, the Cavs. What's the best fit for Okongwu? If you are Onyeka Okongwu, who's the team you want to draft you? Like, who's your best fit?
Are you asking even?
Yes. Besides the Warriors.
It's the Celtics. Out of the teams you named, it's the Celtics. Do I want to compete for the Eastern Conference Finals in my rookie year and for the next decade with the talent that they've got on the team? Yeah, I think I'd play next to Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, that scumbag Kemba Walker. I would love that.
But are they going to be able to trade up to 2? Like, if the Hornets are interested and the Cavs are interested, that's 3-5.
It's the Hornets are interested if Wiseman doesn't fall. Now, if the Hornets move up and get Wiseman, then we're in business here, Ricky. Because then I think they can go get him. I don't think the Cavs take him at 5. I think the Cavs are saying that so they can try and do a swap. So that way the Cavs can go back and get those multiple picks from the Celtics. I think that's some
the tweet is for
leverage right there.
The tweet for the Cavs is from Wasserman. It says, per source, he's the Bleacher Report guy. Per source, Onyeka Okongwu meets with the Cavs this week, has reportedly met with the Hornets, Spurs, and Wizards. So Hornets, Spurs, and Wizards are also on the radar. So basically from everything we're looking at, Hornets, Spurs, Wizards, Celtics, and then Cavs are all the teams that are maybe looking at Onyeka Okongwu. That might not even be it. That's the ones we know about.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Celtics moving up. I think the way I think this could work out is if the Charlotte Hornets move up to 1, go get their guy in James Wiseman. Timberwolves are back at 3. They can take Anthony Edwards probably at 3 is what I would guess.
Or Denny Abdia.
Maybe they'll get a ball. Who knows? I don't. That's the problem. It's like I feel like if they trade back, they're like, let's do it again. Like let's roll the dice and do it again. Depends on what else they get from the Charlotte Hornets. If it is a player who can help them out now, or if it's a prospect, like or just future picks to backfill, what they had to give up.
I mean, I'm thinking
you're frozen on my screen, but I can see you moving over there.
We'll see. I haven't. We'll see. I'm waiting. Okay, I'm just gonna go and see. Can you still hear me? You can't hear me, can you? You can't hear me at all. Is it my Discord? It is my Discord, Dave. Hello. Ahoy, hoy.
Now you're back.
Yeah, it's the Discord. The Discord went to red. Because I'm looking at the stream, Dave, and I'm like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, I looked over there and I was like, Ricky's still talking. And I looked over here and I'm like, Ricky is not moving.
I was looking at that stream, but it was Discord. So if I do it again, let me know. Fucking Discord's a piece of shit sometimes.
Could you hear me
Discord
the whole time?
I could hear you the entire time. Great. Yeah, I could hear you. You couldn't hear me. But the thing that I think of with the Hornets and the T-Wolves is if the Hornets are going to move up, I'm thinking it's a la what we saw Hawks Mavericks, where the Hornets are giving them the number 3 and they're giving them next year's pick. Or they're giving them, 2 years ago? Like it's the 2022 pick because you can't give consecutive years. Like it's.
Oh, no, they can because it's a pick swap.
Oh, that's right. So pick swap and next year's pick for the number 1 because it's the same mark. Like I know it's 1-3 and people keep throwing it out there, but it's still like there's 1 pick in between there. So like I think that would be good enough, especially with the Hornets. The T-Wolves may look at that and go, they're not going to fucking be good next year. So they might even be a top 5
Hornets
pick
win a lot of
next
games.
year.
It's weird. They're a weird team.
I mean, lottery this year helped them out. Getting them to 3.
I was going to say, it helped them out a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's what I think there. Maybe the Hornets don't want to do that because they don't want to give up. Like, that's the thing. Looking at the Hornets with this is if you're the Hornets, do you want to give up? Do you basically want to move up to 1 and give up next year's pick to get Wiseman now? Or do you look at it and go, hey, there's going to be a lot of good. Well, what we think now is that there will be a lot of good players next year. I want to keep next year's pick. So fuck it. If Wiseman falls to us, that's great. But if not, Onyeka at 3, that's how we go.
I kind of like both of those because if you can put a pick protection, Onyeka.
Yeah, I was just
keep saying his name wrong, and I just stopped. I just stopped even mentally.
Onyeka Okongwu.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can put a pick protection on that next year's pick, sure. Okay. I would say top 5 protection.
Top 5, not top. I would say if I'm the T-Wolves, I would say, can we just make that a top 3 protection?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it's top 4. Can we sell for top 4 protection? Do I have a middle ground? Top 4 protection, and if not, it'll convert to 17 second rounder now.
17 second rounders.
It'll go top 4, or top 4 then unprotected. How about that?
Yeah, I mean
and I'll sweeten it with the second rounder.
It would just be tricky because like the draft class. I know looking at next year's draft class now. The whole reason I'm saying 4 is for the lotto. Like that's the whole thing is if you say top 3, it used to be top 3 is the big 3. Now it's the big 4. So I got to look at that, and I got to think the top 4 protection plus a second rounder might get it done. But yeah, it's close because I think I remember talking about how I liked Onyeka Okongwu being a top 5 pick and being a better center or a better, I shouldn't say center, a better rim protector than James Wiseman. And I think he has a good skill set that could make him, in the same mold we all want to project the Bam situation to happen for him. Yeah. Because his college stats are actually better than Bam's college stats. Bam just took a massive step in the passing game that no one saw coming, which
congratulations to that man. He's the hardest fucking working man next to Jim Butler. But like, can Onyeka do that, or is he going to just be a limited guy? Now, there's nothing that says he would be.
Yeah.
In my mind, this is a guy who has the same potential that Bam has. So if you hear that out loud, would you not love to take him at 3?
I would love to take him at 3. And that's the thing where it's like everything I'm seeing and reading about Onyeka Okongwu is basically, we talk about the rim protection, but like he's also a high value rebounder, especially on the offensive end. And he's also a big that, although it's like, oh, we talk about the rim protection, he can still work in the pick and roll on defense. Now, the only thing I question with him right now is his size. But like if he hits the weight room, center, bulks up, like then that might change things.
Get them Dwight Howard shoulders going, you know?
Basically, like look at Joel Embiid in college and look at Joel Embiid now.
Oh, yeah, he's not the same person.
He bulked up, and it was like now he's a different person. The only thing with the Celtics when it comes down to getting Onyeka is if
they gotta go to 5.
Yeah, if the Hornets move up for Wiseman, that's the only way I think the door opens for them to get Okongwu. And if that door opens, would all 3 of their picks be enough to either move up to 3 or move up to 5? Or do the Cavs do the thing of, fuck it, we really like Okongwu.
You froze again.
We're then going to trade.
Ricky.
I'll restart. Did I freeze? Fuck it. I'll go ahead. Dave, am I back?
Yeah.
Am I back? I was green, but whatever. Basically what I was saying is, or do the Cavs do their thing of, hey, the T-Wolves are now at 3. We really like Okongwu. We want to trade up then to 3 with the T-Wolves, and the T-Wolves trade back yet again, completely out of the top 3. Like, that's the thing I think that can fuck over the Celtics in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, the T-Wolves could totally lock up a ton of draft picks, so they trade back a couple times. And this is the class to do it. If there are teams motivated, like, this is where I'm like, I'm this close to buying 2K. And I understand it's the same goddamn game. But I need to work out draft scenarios here, people. And it is a big deal because, I mean, like trading back in this class is so highly incentivized because we think about how flat it is or how most people perceive it to be so flat with having just 3 high value, like incredible upside talents. Everybody else is like, we kind of know where they're going to be at. Yes, they still have high ceilings, but like not in that area where we're like expecting a superstar, game changer, day one, 25 points a night kind of guy. So obviously, when you look at this class, like the Timberwolves are a team where it's confusing because they have 2 stars. They have D'Lo, they have Cat. They've got some nice pieces around them, but they don't have anyone put them over the top. So what's that timeline look like? Can you afford to trade back in a class where you're like, hey, we can load up and get like Tyrese Halliburton and some other like guys who can like. So the question is like T-Wolves, do they go back? Do they go forward? Obviously, they can't go forward, but like, do they trade back for draft picks or do they trade for talent to fit with this roster so they can actually compete this year? Because that's the question. How many years of suck can the Timberwolves endure? Because they got that taste of the playoffs with Jimmy Butler carrying their lazy asses into the playoffs because he wanted to go get it. And now you're like, well, we have 2 supremely talented people. Can we get some guys to fill out this roster, or do we go for draft picks and reload? What do you think?
I think you do that and you wait for Booker to be on the table. Is that what it is? Is that what we're doing? Like, I feel like
right here, Ricky.
I feel like they trading back twice. I feel like is the 2K move. But if there's any draft 100%. Class that's going to do it, like this could be the draft class. Who knows? Maybe there's someone that wants to move up at 3. And if you're the T-Wolves, you're like, fuck it. Like, we could take Denny. Like, I say, we could take, like, Denny here. We could take LaMelo. We could take, because I think the Warriors, it's either trade back Wiseman or Edwards. Those are the 3 options for the Warriors. So, like, if the Hornets move up to get Wiseman, it's Wiseman, Edwards. And then it's like, oh, do we want LaMelo? Do we want Denny? Or do we want to trade back, get more draft capital, and then get a guy to do the same?
Okongwu, had him play under Draymond for a year, and then move Draymond.
Apparently, Onyeka's been linked to them. Obi Toppin's been linked to them.
Again, everyone's been linked to them.
Apparently, if they trade back into the low top 10, Sadiq Bey is in play for them.
I heard Halliburton.
Halliburton could be in play for them. Like, who fucking knows? When it comes to the Warriors. But Dave, Let's talk about a team we love, a team that we know, the Chicago Bulls. And there's some rumors. First off, rumors coming out that LaMelo's not doing good in interviews. He's could be. So according to the Charlotte Observer, Rick Bonnell, Ball reportedly has been unimpressive in his post-draft or in his pre-draft interviews and could slip in the draft as a result. Hat tip to Bleacher Report's Jenna Cicotelli. There's also rumors, Dave, that basically this is from the fan site, Pippen Ain't Easy, that apparently if Denny Abdia or LaMelo Ball, did I freeze again? Yeah, I froze again. Basically, Dave, what I was saying is if Denny Abdia and LaMelo Ball are there, they could be the two guys that the Bulls want. Is LaMelo Ball going to be a Bull?
See, here's the thing. You get that recency bias, and now that I hear everything's going badly, I'm like, do I
take him? I love him.
He's still, in my mind, he's still like the second best player in this class.
This could be him trying to tank interviews, though. Like it could be that.
It could just be LaMelo Ball rubs people the wrong way. I mean, he is a ball. Like, could be that too. He did spend a lot of time with his father.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think about that personality isn't exactly for everyone. So everything about him seems like he's a good kid. Mm-hmm. I want to believe he's a good kid. He's not the bad one. That was the middle one. We all know. Move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if he falls to the 4 and it's between LaMelo Ball, is Denny off the board then?
So apparently the rumor is, and I'm getting this from fan-sided site, where it says, the more and more that we hear about the plans of AK and Mark Eversley and the Chicago Bulls camp for the draft, the more it feels like they're having traction for two prospects. Those two could be Denny Abdia and LaMelo Ball. Yeah, those are pretty much the two.
I like both. I think both would fit and help us out. I think both are super high upside prospects too. Mm-hmm. Ball obviously lower floor than Denny. Yeah. Denny can play basketball. LaMelo Ball might be Michael Carter Williams out there. Mm-hmm. Like that's the fear. That's 100% the fear. His passing game somehow won't magically translate because his shot is so god awful that it's like doesn't matter how good you are at passing the ball because no one will cover you within 10 feet. You'll be like Ben Simmons, but worse because Ben Simmons plays defense.
Yeah.
So he has a huge skill set over you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like that's a scary thing. LaMelo has the highest upside, but he also has the highest downside.
Yeah.
Now, yes, the Bulls should take him if he's there. I'll just
over Denny.
As much as I'm gonna him and haw.
Yeah,
just fuck it. Like
because to me that's the toughest choice.
If we're going out swinging. That's what I want to fail, and I want to know that I failed. That's as a Chicago fan right now. If I'm swinging, I better fucking hit or I will miss, and I will know one way or the other. And we're not gonna play this middle game where the Bulls are gonna be spooky. Look. Wendell Carter Jr. has been talked about for 3 years now, and I swear to God, if he plays more than 30 basketball games, I'm going to flip my fucking table in celebration. Like, I can't do this anymore. Is he good? Is he bad? Is Lauri Markkanen good? Is he bad? We don't know. Kobe White, I don't know. He's been a bench player for fucking 80 games this season. We start him for like 3.
Eric brings up a good point. You take LaMelo with all the jersey sales. I'd buy one day one.
That's cash considerations right there.
Cash considerations.
That's a Ryan Storff play. Like, that's the problem. Our team is a bunch of guys who could be good, but we have no fucking clue because we've been so badly coached.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to fail, like, Denny's a player who could look good, but like in that way where you're like low-key basketball fans know Denny Abdia is like, man, that guy's going to be really good in a couple of years. Yeah. But I've been hearing that same story about 3 of our players, and I'm sick of it. Yeah. Go get a point guard, and we will find out what the answer is. You froze again.
I can hear you. I can hear you though.
We need.
Oh, now it won't let me back in. Guys, I don't know. We're just going to... You guys can still hear me. That's the thing. I'm just going to close my Discord. I'm going to open Discord again. Oh, this has been a complete shit show, and I hate it.
I do too.
How can you hear me? Okay, I restarted my Discord. I'm talking to Twitch chat venting. I could hear everything you were saying, though. Like, you froze, and I could still hear you. That's the thing. I'm like, oh, my God.
Fire. But that shit better hit YouTube's. But I don't care how bad the production quality is, that's got to hit YouTube.
But, like, I agree with you in the sense of I just want to go out with a bang. Like, LaMelo Ball, I am so excited, Dave. The way I see this ultimately going down is Hornets trade up to 1. They get James Wiseman. Let's say I'm saying the Warriors stay put. I don't think there's a trade that gets made. Edwards. They take Anthony Edwards. T Wolves then take Denny Abdi at 3. LaMelo Ball's in play at fucking number 4 for us. Even if, let's say, the Hornets are at 3, they take Onyeka Okongwu. Ball is still in play for us at 4. Like, I never thought LaMelo Ball would be.
Michael Jordan going to take Ball. He won't do it. He won't stand for it.
Yeah. I mean, there were the rumors of like, oh, he could be the passion project for Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan would clown his dad forever. There's no way, and he'd have to deal with all the public. He don't want that.
Remember, LeVar Ball said he could beat Michael 1-on-1.
That's why he won't take him.
Could beat him 1-on-1.
Doesn't want that shit in the clubhouse.
And enter in the Jordan meme that's when it became personal to me. But Dave, I kind of have a feeling that I don't want to tread further than this. Do we tread? I'll ask you. Do we tread further, or do we call it quits? What do you want?
It's gotten horrible. Like it feels like we're down to like if I can get 3 minutes of yelling in, then it's done. So I am saying that we will hold the remaining topics. We will put them in next week. We might do some extended fucking draft coverage shit because we have obviously football Friday tomorrow will be a packed show, but like. We have got so much to talk about, and all these rumors are going to keep getting juicier. Yeah, it's basically the way I've already planned it is besides like Fridays and Mondays. Well, even Mondays, like maybe before the recap, but like besides Fridays, there's going to be something for the draft because now until the 18th, something's going to come up. So we got more planned that we're going to do. Sadly, we're going to have to call it because, I'm going to say fuck Comcast. That's what I'm going to say. Because this is not a computer thing. Like my computer is not bricking. I'm using between 11% and 13% of my CPU. So I'm going to say fuck the internet. That's what this is. So fuck Comcast and everything that they do. Because when they work, they're great, Dave. Best internet on the fucking planet. But it's like, can it work for when I want it to work? But thank you guys for everything that you... Basically, thank you for going through that. Like, I know this is not the ideal product that we want. This is basically how the sausage is made. This is how we go ahead and go through the ups and the downs. So thank you guys for sticking it through us because we love to do this for you. Remember, if you want to join the best community on the internet, Discord's down below, !Discord in the Twitch chat for that. If you want to support us, make sure that maybe, fuck it, it wouldn't even fix my internet. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVP-vids for that. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch, just like Philly Sean did. Thank you to also Philly Sean and Pat Hill, our Patreon sponsors. And then also we're on Twitch Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVP-vids. We're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Thank you guys yet again, everything that you do. Dave and I will be back tomorrow for a Football Friday. Hopefully it's not like this, though. And as always, have a good day, everybody.